Hello guys, Daily Friend here, and welcome back for another Wild West video. And I know it is unexpected that I'm going to make a Wild West video, but I've been hearing about complaints from before that there are a lot of griefers, there's a lot of loot grabbers, and there's a lot of people losing their loot from these loot grabbers. So I am here to step forward and give you some of my tips on how to avoid loot grabbers and how to avoid getting loot grabbed and getting griefed. So without further ado, let's start the video. So here is my first tip for this video. My first tip is your horse. So you have to pick the right horse for you. And for me, in my opinion, I have 3 horses that I will recommend to use, since these 3 horses are by far best options. So of course, let's get into the first horse that I'm going to talk about. And obviously it's right there already. It is the Mustang horse. Now the Mustang horse is a solid horse. It has the max speed. It has 5 boots, or the max stamina. Its only downside is that it's really fairly easy to kill. 1 headshot and it's actually down. But what it comes for is its great speed and really handling. The handling is really perfect. So for example, I'm running from the loot grabbers. I can go ahead and maneuver through the woods quite smoothly. So it's a really stable horse that you can afford. This horse can be found on Callahan Manor. So if you're still new to the game, I hardly think so, since this game has been out. But for the benefit of it, you can find this horse here at the Callahan Manor plantation on the shop. So this guy, he's gonna say hello. He sells all the 3-star horses, and the best horse here is of course the Mustang. You can buy it for 10k. So yeah, so the next horse on our list is this horse right here, the Wendigo horse. Now the Wendigo horse, it is technically just a Mustang, but with this visual appeal and this, you know, cool looking trail. Well, do not be fooled, fellas. This horse is actually really good. That's why it's in my recommendation. Since it is like a Mustang, it runs like a Mustang, accelerates like a Mustang. The handling is just like a Mustang. Only thing is it has these trails and it has these horns. Now there's actually a special ability, or I don't know if I should call it special, but there's a hidden ability that this horse attains. It's that it has armor. Not only that this horse is technically a Mustang, it has the max health, max speed. The only problem is it only has 4 boots, or as you can see here, it's not really the max stamina, unlike the Mustang. But since it has high health, it can tank some, you know, damages from pistols, from mediocre rifles such as the Winchester. Not really mediocre, it's a good rifle, but you know, damages like 35 damage, 25 damage, it can tank it. Now about the horns itself, I have a explanation to you guys about the horns. The horns actually count as a defense for your head, you know, your literal head. So I can show you a clip of me testing it with my friends. So I'm just gonna roll it in here. This is one of the tests that we're gonna try in the Wild West. So this horse is actually armored with your head. So if you have the max height, or I mean lowest height, so you can see you have head armor at the game. If you have the Wendigo horse, it's basically a head armor. So you can see, yeah, basically it has armor. Try it again. Try it again, fellas. Try it again. It has armor. So in this recording right here, I'll show you, fellas. Yeah, Joe, ask questions later. So if you are on your let's say medium height to lowest height, I don't know if it works too for the highest height. You can see that the horse takes damage instead of the user. So it's really good. This horse is really good if you're trying to run from ambushers or loot grabbers that are waiting for you on the road. If you take them head on and your horse is facing forward and they shoot at you, and most of them usually use a Sharps rifle. If you know the Sharps rifle, the sniper rifle of Wild West, it's really lethal. It has a lethal damage, and most of them will aim for your head. Now, if you have a Wendigo horse, as you can see, the Wendigo horse takes a lot of the damage on front. We're gonna test this out with the Majestic Spitfire, because some loot grabbers also have Spitfires. See? It is really protective. Let's try the sides right here. This is the reason why this horse is actually powerful, since it cancels damage from even the greatest gun for long range. So let's try the sides, because the horns actually act as a entity that you can hit. You can see the sides is also protected right here. Oh, this one, it's somehow protected. So but the thing is, the front is really armored. The only problem with this Wendigo horse's armor is the back is really exposed. Really exposed. So you just have to be careful with your back. But overall, the Wendigo horse is really powerful. I'm gonna show it to you guys. You might be saying this is biased because I'm the one shooting, but let's try it ourselves. So let's try over here. My friend Gunslinger Rabbit, which is Mr. Squidge, will try it. See, I am actually untouched. I am untouched, and Squidge is trying a different angle for the Wendigo horse. The sides, see? Wendigo horse will actually die. That's the only cons of having the Wendigo horse. If it dies, you just have to run. So, as I said there, certainly this horse has an armor, since this horns that this horse has, it acts as an armor. So if you just sit tight right here and people start shooting in front of you, you're technically untouched, because no one can hit you with its horns, because the horns, as you can see, I'm aiming up there, it acts as a shield. So if you like sit down here, your front, like a triangular formation, your triangular formation right here, it is really protected. The only downside is people can shoot you to this side and your back, but it cannot shoot you from this side. I believe this is somehow protected. So yeah, this is a recommended horse. Okay, now since we are done talking about the Wendigo horse, I hope my explanation was understandable about the Wendigo horse. Now this next horse, the third recommendation for you guys, is the horse that is currently unobtainable. Of course, that's the biggest downside. It's unobtainable now. If you have this horse right here, the skeleton horse, then consider yourselves lucky. The skeleton horse can only be summoned or can only be called during 6 p.m. sharp. You can only summon it during nighttime, and it can only last at nighttime. So if it's 6 a.m., well, this thing vanishes. Now the biggest upside or the biggest pro about this horse is this is the fastest horse that you can have in Wild West. It is literally faster than a train. It's faster than a train. You can like outrun a train, and you can chase down people with the skeleton horse. You can chase them down, but of course you can run away from people if you need to. This horse has good snappy handling. It has a snappy handling, as you can see. It's quite snappy. You can evade a lot of shots. You can see my friend is like trying to shoot me. It's really fast. The only problem with this horse is it's really fragile. So I think if you get shot by, let's say, a Winchester rifle, and your horse got shot by a Winchester rifle in the front, it just vanishes. Unlike the Wendigo horse, which can tank virtually any shots from this, you know, from guns that you can buy from the gun shop. It is not like this horse, which is really fragile. I believe it only takes a couple of shots to take it down. So that only took me like 4 shots to take it down with a Winchester rifle. So you gotta be careful in using this. But of course, the biggest upside I told you is speed. So you gotta take advantage of that speed to evade all the bullets. So if you're grinding and it's nighttime, I recommend just spawn this horse if you have one. Well, that's that for the horse recommendations. And if you're new to the game and you still have a 2-star horse, I recommend really just get the 3-star horse, which is the Mustang. Well, yeah, that's that for the horse. Let's move on to the next tip. For the second tip I'm going to give you is familiarize your grinding spot. Be familiar with your grinding spot. So I'm gonna use the water cavern as my example. So what do I mean by familiarize or be familiar with your grinding spot? Well, being familiar gives you an advantage in escaping or evading loot grabbers. Now, for example, I know the 4 entrances of the water cavern. Knowing the 4 entrances means you also know the 4 exits of the water cavern. Now, in dire situations and in bad situations that is gonna happen inside the water cavern, I know the 4 exits that I can escape. So if you know or you're familiar with your grinding spot, you can essentially just escape quickly. And if you got out and you still know the location, or you're familiar with the terrain, as right now there's a lot of trees, you can use it too to your advantage. Now if you're being chased down in a pursuit of horses and they're exchanging fire between you, you can just go ahead and maneuver through the woods and avoid all the bullets that are gonna hit you. So that's one advantage of knowing the place. It gives you high mobility in the place. You're knowledgeable with the place, so you can just escape and use it to your advantage since you know all the 4 exits. So yeah. So my third tip for you guys is connected to the second tip. Now, if you know the place already, you're familiar with the place, the next best thing to do if you are familiar with it is make an escape plan. Make a plan, make a scenario, and plan it, since planning will make things efficient. Now I'm gonna give you an example. Right here we have the water cavern. I have 4 entrances / exits. So how many plans do I make? I make 4 plans. Those 4 plans are the 4 exits. It plays with the 4 scenarios in my head. Like for example, one player is camping this spot, so I should use the other exit. Since I am already familiar with my place, I know the other exit, and being familiar with the place and planning your escape is really efficient. And there's one scenario in my head that if I get chased right here, I can go to Pinewood Hills and just lose my my tail. I'll just lose people tailing me. So yeah, familiarizing and planning makes things efficient as escaping loot grabbers. So that's my third tip. Always remember to plan, because planning makes efficiency. So for my fourth tip is just quite simple. My fourth tip for you guys is use a camouflage outfit. Since this tip might not sound good for some, you might ridicule this tip, but it actually works. Now, if you are gonna use some outfits, make sure they blend in with the surroundings. Now, if it's nighttime, I usually use a darker outfit so I can camouflage with the night. Now, during daytime, sometimes if I want to camouflage, I would probably use a green outfit and, you know, just camouflage around the trees so I won't be seen. This tip is relatively not that helpful, but it may come to some effect. Some clothing and some accessories do give you some special abilities, not really special abilities, some traits, such as this one, jack-o'-lantern gives you light, even though I'm not even holding a lantern. Well, there's one special thing, that's why I brought this up. There's one special equipment that falls under this outfit tip that I'm gonna tell you, and that equipment is the scuba diving gear. The scuba diving gear, well, you can get this from digging some treasures. If you're very lucky, this might be your very first treasure that you found. Now, some of you might just think this is just a really useless item. Well, honestly, it is really useful when it comes to water diving. It gives you more oxygen than before. So this means that you can hide on water. So if you ever get ambushed, you can just swim on the water much longer. Why did I bring this up too? Since I myself grind in the water cavern, I use the scuba diving gear helmet so I can traverse the underwater tunnel with more oxygen. And traversing the underwater tunnel with more oxygen gives you more time to like either hide away from the loot grabbers, or so that you can exit on this other part of the water cavern. And it's a really good item. It's a really useful item, so you gotta use it whenever you're gonna grind on the water cavern, since you can just hide in the water for a long time. So it really helps you out in surviving a loot grabber scenario. So my fifth tip, so it is quite simple. It's just like the third tip and the fourth tip. So my tip number 5 is also quite simple. My tip number 5 is about tricking people, usually the most judgmental loot grabbers out there. So, well, now my tip number 5 is we always equip this pickaxe whenever we mine in the depths. You know, we use it to mine ores and metals. Now, if we're already full, we already got all the metals, what do? We exit. Now, if we exit, we still have this on and we just ride around. Okay, well, my recommendation to you guys is after you're done mining, I recommend just, you know, unequip the pickaxe. Why is that? Many of you might ridicule this tip. Many of you might find this useless. Well, some loot grabbers are actually just, you know, camping relatively far away from, you know, your camping spot or your grinding spot. Let's say you're mining around, and there's a loot grabber just watching, you know, the surroundings. Loot grabbers usually attack people who are, you know, farming for money. The reason why is they only attack them is attacking a lot of people will lead to more bounty. The higher the bounty becomes, and if they eventually get caught, that will be deducted to their money. Because if you die or you get caught in the game, your money will get deducted. So it's not really profitable. So what they only do is they only target, you know, grinding people, you know, farmers of money. So they only target them. Now, to spot a person who is grinding, some of them will always have a pickaxe on their backs. So it's a dead giveaway. This is a dead giveaway that you are in fact mining for ores, and you're in fact mining for gold. So if someone sees you with this pickaxe and then you're trying to head to a direction where there's like a cellar, at this point, if you're mining a tribal camp and then you exit from here, you're trying to go to that cellar right there, or you're going for Silver Town and you're going through the cellar, some people will think that you have gold or you have items in you since you have a pickaxe. So generally people will just shoot you down, or loot grabbers will just shoot you down, and boom, all of your loot will just blast from your, you know, dead body. So you always gotta remove this. Okay, fellas, let's move on for tip number 6. Tip number 6 is really one of the most essential here. Tip number 6 is about weaponry. Weaponry like guns, melee, whatever. Now, if you're actually mining, you don't want to bring your entire arsenal. For example, right, like me right here, I brought my entire arsenal. Now, if you're grinding, you know, you're just gonna remove all of your weapons, right? And then you're just gonna leave like, let's say, the most important item here, which is the tier 6 pickaxe, since for example you're gonna go mining. Well, that might be good because you're gonna get like a lot of space, but I always recommend, if you're going out on a trip, it's either bring 2 weapons, 2 or 1 weapons. But if you want to get more loot, want to bring more bacon, want to get more money, well, I recommend just use a shotgun. Shotgun and a pickaxe come together as one. If you're grinding in the game, for example, I'm grinding at Water Cavern, I always bring a shotgun with me as my primary, and I don't bring anything else. Why a shotgun? Well, the shotgun is really good on close quarters combat, just like caves, and it can just easily kill someone. But of course, there's only 2 primary shotguns, what I meant in the game. The 2 primary shotguns is the mule shotgun and the Colt revolving shotgun. Now, if you do have both of them, it's either you choose. Right now, I have the Colt revolving shotgun, but for you guys, I'm gonna tip you that you should probably have a mule shotgun. I have on a Colt Mule, that's just a reskinned shotgun. Why the Colt Mule? Well, a Colt Mule, it has 2 rounds, so you have 2 hits. It's fast. The Mule is fast in reloading, and it's also fast fire rate. You can see it's really fast reload too. Why this shotgun, not like the Colt revolving shotgun? Well, my explanation is the mule shotgun is fast to reload, fast fire rate. That is really good in close quarters. The Colt revolving is relatively slow. It has 5 rounds though, but like it is quite slow for me. Like, see, there's that delay. So generally, this gun is really good for outdoors. The only problem with this gun is sometimes the chambers do get jammed. Like, for example, I reload this like that, because some scenarios you're just gonna dodge and weave, and then you reload, and then you have to like equip, like you have to like run away. Sometimes you unequip it accidentally. The problem is sometimes this gun actually jams, just like the revolvers. You can jam a revolver, like, you know, the Russian roulette thingy. I forgot how to do it, but this thing actually just jams. So for example, I do that, okay, so I've done that. Oh, oops, volumes are too high. So right here, see, this is what I'm talking about. That is the reason why sometimes I don't like this revolving shotgun. Because sometimes you only need, let's say, 2 shots, right? See? Like those scenarios where you only need, let's say, 3 shots or 2 shots. Like you're like dodging, you have no more ammo. Like let's say I'm shooting someone like this, right? I'm killing someone, then I'm gonna reload. Oh, I just need 1 ammo. And then you like dodge right here, and then sometimes if you're lucky it does that. But look at this, see? It does that stupid thingy with the revolver, like the revolving chamber. That's why sometimes I don't pick this. Well, you can avoid that by just reloading that whole thing as a full. You have to reload this thing as a full to avoid that incident. Because I died. One time I died just because of that jam. So, I recommend just use the mule shotgun or any kind of mule you have. If you have the reskinned one, that's also fine. That's just a mule but reskinned. So let's move on to tip number 7. Tip number 7 is just like tip number 2. Observe your surroundings for this one. Tip number 7 is observe your surroundings. Not like familiarize. This is observe. If you are underground and you see that there's like a player, or there's like let's go underground, shall we? So we're going to observe and observe the surroundings. So if we're down here, we have to observe the surroundings. As you can see right here, there's already 1 clue. One of the ores is gone. That means someone is in here. You gotta appear cautious down here. So there's still silver. That's a good sign. There's a missing ore right there. So someone was here earlier. So you gotta observe just like that. Now observing your surroundings. One tip I'm gonna give you is if you see random horses. So if you're up there and you saw like random horses swimming in the lake, like right here, that's already a dead giveaway that someone might be waiting down there or someone was grinding. So that is tip number 7. Always observe. And for the extension of observing is also observing the player. So if you're down here and mining and someone was like here too and talking to you and saying hello, I'm friendly, I come in peace, sometimes they generally just don't go in peacefully. For example, I'm gonna be mining right here. For example, I'll be mining and I'll be talking to this guy. So if you're in the shoes of this guy and I'm talking to you like this close, you have to be cautious. Observe your surroundings, you know, really just observe your surroundings. If there's someone coming close to you and they have a shotgun on their hand, of course you should avoid them. Or if not, if they still keep following you, you should just engage at them. Always observe your surroundings for this one. For the next tip, which is number 8, we're already at number 8. This is also like observing your surroundings, but this time this is all about audio. My tip for you if you're mining is at least put your volume to you know, a decent sound where you can hear gunshots and you can hear horse neigh. Now what's a horse neigh? That's like the horse when the horse, you know, boosts. You can hear that scream of the horse. If you hear that, that means someone might be up there if you're inside. As you can see, I can hear gunshots. I can hear. If you can hear from underground, you can already predict that there is someone. So always have your audio to, you know, somehow decent volume so you can hear stuff. Oh, there, see, I can hear someone mining. See, I can hear someone mining. So that's already a dead giveaway that someone is down here. And if I hear random shots, that means someone must have been fighting someone up there. Also, with the benefit of audio, if you're down here and you're mining and you're bored, if you're waiting for like gold and you're waiting for silver to respawn, for example, I'm waiting for this ore, be careful, okay? Be careful. Always So what is my tip number 9 for you fellas? So to avoid those sorts of things happening for you, if this is the main entrance, some people really take a lot of damage here. You gotta add fortifications for tip number 9. Always add in random fortifications, such as, you know, like that. By the way, campfires today deal damage. I hope they still do damage. See? They do damage. They really do some damage. So adding something like that, or adding like a bear trap, let's say, that would probably help you fight off against unwanted players who are just underground. So that's for tip number 9. Quite simple. Add fortifications, and also if you're gonna stay here for long, you can also add a tent right here. Adding a tent right here is actually a big advantage. Since this is hard to climb, you can just have a tent and, you know, mine some more. Tip number 9, fortification. Okay, so we're now here at the last tip. Tip number 10. This tip number 10 is you know, quite common sense. If you're going to grind, you kind of need help. You need help from either your posse members. Wait, this is not Red Dead Redemption, this is Wild West. It's either you need help from your friends, help from your faction members. So if you have a faction, you know, all of them are dead. My faction is quite dead. But if you have friends, always try to like say, hey, should we grind together? You know, should we get some ores? Should we hunt animals together? You know, always invite. Always have someone at your side. So if something happens, like an ambush, you have a teammate. And the more teammates you have in the game, or the more faction members you have while you're grinding, the less likely you're gonna get ambushed by a lone loot grabber. Loot grabbers, sometimes they're with they're only one, they're solo loot grabber. Some loot grabbers come with groups. The highest loot grabber count that I've ever encountered is 3 loot grabbers. Three people that are teaming up against me to get my loot. So, you know, loot grabbers comes in many quantities. So to counter that, also get friends, you know, get your faction members and help each other out while you're grinding. So that's my last tip. Team of power, the power of friendship. So yeah, that's tip number 10. Now if you don't have friends or a faction member, I don't know, just get one. So that's all the tips that I'm gonna give you for today. If I miss some tips, you still have some tips, you still have some opinions in mind about how to avoid loot grabbers, well, you can comment it down below. And yeah, that's it for this video. And if you enjoyed that, or if you find that helpful, please consider subscribing. I'm stuck at 4K and I need help. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.